Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today, I am going to be bringing to you the finals from the most recent Go4SC2 Cup. Spawning in the bottom left position as the Purple Terran, playing from Team Millennium, we have DieStar. His opponent spawning in the top right position as the Green Terran, we have Ktože. Now, I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a spoiler here right from the get-go. This is the finals of the Go4SC2 Cup, so it was going to be a best of 5. And I'm going to tell you right now that this is going to be a complete shutout by DieStar. DieStar is going to go 3-0 in this little matchup here. So, I want to look at a little bit of DieStar's play today, a little bit of DieStar's TvT. When you're looking for games, it's important to note, from a casting perspective, I like to find games that actually go to, if it's a best of 5, actually go to game 5, because it's a little more exciting that way. If it comes down to that 2 versus 2 match where that one match is going to determine who wins. But when it comes to really analyzing a player's play, and when you are actually going out yourself to look for professional players to copy and to follow, you want to look for these shutouts. You want to look for these players that are just so good that they just win tournaments straight up. They don't even lose a game. Those are the games you actually want to check out, just from a studying point of view, I suppose. So I'll tell you right now, Ktože going to lose this game. He's going to lose game 2, then he's going to lose game 3. And we are going to be checking out mostly an emphasis on DieStar's play. I'll poke into Ktože base every now and then just to give an idea of what he's doing, but more focus on DieStar this game. So both players are going to be scouting each other out. Looks like Ktože scout going to be just a smidgen earlier than his opponents. Let's talk a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of scout timings. If you scout a little bit later, it means that you are going to be getting a little bit more resources. Simple enough. Clean, easy. So you always want to scout as late as you possibly can. If you ever scout when you're playing on ladder and you get to your opponent's base and you say, well, I'm going to have to sit around a little bit longer before I can really tell what he's going to be doing, then you probably scouted too early. Scout a little bit later next time and save up the extra resources that you're going to get from keeping your workers on your mineral line. Just one little small thing that you can do. Now, DieStar did go for a barracks followed by a gas geyser. That to me tells me that we are going to be most likely going for a fast factory. We might see a Reaper come out here, but no, there we go. The factory is now coming down here. Just because I think that the Reaper, the Reaper play is a good opening too. I'm trying to think if there's a particular reason that I would get a Reaper over getting that fast factory. The Reaper obviously gives you a lot of early scouting information, allows you to get into your opponent's base very early on, possibly do some worker damage here. But on this particular map, notice that there is not a whole lot of low ground around his mineral line. There's not a whole lot of ground here that you can take. There's only one place you can really jump up onto the high ground, and that's here, and all of Ktože units are going to be here to defend. So I think on this map, yeah, Reaper's probably not quite so good. DieStar going to be producing Marines out of this one barrack, sending them out, getting a little bit of map control here, taking the XelNaga Watchtower. On this map, it's particularly important. You always want to be keeping at least one of these XelNaga Towers, because this XelNaga Tower tells you all the path, or tells you anytime you have a ground army approaching along the 2 quickest routes. This route here and this route here. Let's look at the mini-map really quick. The left XelNaga Watchtower gives you vision all around here, and if your opponent is coming out of his base, he's either going to be coming up along this path and coming down here, or he's going to be coming down along this path and coming here. Now, it's possible he goes all the way around here, but that's a really, really long distance to have to go around, so it's not that common to do that. It's very rare that players will actually do that. So by taking one XelNaga Tower, you're really keeping an eye on both of the main attack paths from your opponent. One Hellion was produced here out of the factory, followed by a very quick starport. Tech Lab was then added on to that factory, and he's now going to be swapping that starport onto that Tech Lab. Going to be getting that Banshee out here very early. Couple of Hellions now moving out for Ktože. If we poke into Ktože base, both players actually went for a 1-1-1 here. The barracks followed by the factory, followed by the starport, but both players doing a very different style. Ktože went for a reactor on that factory, and he's now double producing Hellions as well as a medevac here. No add-on at all on that starport. In the base of DieStar, he did take a normally timed second gas for his 1-1-1 build, and now after starting this Banshee, he's just continuing to produce Marines. He looks like he's getting one Marauder because he did see his opponent going for those Hellions. He saw those 2 Hellions pop out, so he knows his opponent opponent's committing a little heavier to Hellion, so he's going to be getting a Marauder here, maybe another Marauder coming out here very soon. Stim coming down on the way as well. Second Barracks now coming up. Factory now producing a Reactor. I like this use of the factory. Far too often, players will get that factory and just kind of leave it sitting there and not doing anything with it, but DieStar's build actually uses it to build he gets that one Hellion out of it to get a little bit of map control, then he uses it to build add-ons. Really, really like that play there from DieStar. Now, NocSout's going to be poking in here, and he can actually get a very good angle on these Marines. He's actually going to be doing a lot of damage to those Marines because they were all stuck in that straight line, and NocSout just pushing out with a small number of Marines here and one medevac. That's actually very strong, as Marines with one medevac is actually a pretty darn strong early game if you get it out there, because Marines with a medevac this early in the game just don't die ever. They are going to force a cancel on that by DieStar, but notice DieStar did get his Banshee into the main, starting to deal lots of damage, and with this push out here by NocXout, he's not going to be able to do a whole lot. Raven was actually following up that Banshee, now throwing down that auto turret here, and more damage being dealt. And notice after the Raven comes down, instantly throwing down the Viking. Why? Because he doesn't really know a whole lot of what his opponent is doing right now. He does see right now that there's a starport actually going down, so I'm actually going to have to take that back. I forgot about this Banshee. Because of that Banshee, he does know that this starport is going down. He sees that the tech lab is researching, so he's going to know that there's a Banshee coming on his way here. So getting that very quick Viking out, very smart move here by DieStar, and I would almost say that even if that Banshee didn't get into his opponent's base, whoa, that Viking, yeah, there we go. That Viking is going to be taking NocXout's Banshee down, and this Banshee over here is the hero of the game, getting 18 kills, ending this game early. The one last thing I wanted to talk about real quick is I would almost always get this Viking out blind. Like, I would almost always say, if you're going to get that Banshee followed by that Raven, I would almost follow up with this Viking all the time, just because Vikings are so good for getting early map control, scouting your opponent, and if your opponent does go for this Banshee, you're already covered. You already got the Raven for detection, so even if he goes for Cloak, you are completely covered and safe against Banshees just from having that one Viking out early. There's so many uses of this Viking that I would almost always get that at this point in this matchup. So, well played game here by DieStar. We are now going to be jumping into Game 2 of DieStar versus NocXout from the Go4SC2 Cup, so stick with me, guys. Game 2 coming right up.